Okay. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. So this is a little bit of code I got from somebody referring to himself as Smuka on GitHub. Sorry, on Discord. And what we're trying to achieve is basically like talk about how how to save a file that was posted. So this is basically stuff that we know kind of pre-existed that was posted. I'm going to simplify things a little bit to make this work from particular perspectives here. So here's the first question, right? So if the request method is post, okay, so I'm going to, and task add, is get anywhere in here? No, okay. I'm going to simplify this down a lot to make my life a little bit easier. Let's see where this ends here. Okay, fair enough. So this would basically work. This would basically work. And what are we going to do here? So we have a file upload here, right? This is basically what's happening. So I assume, and I'm going to simply use Postman for that. Right, we're going to do this super simple and say, okay, where did my Postman go? I guess it's starting up. It's starting up, it's going to take a second. It's going to take a second. So first of all, in very general, if you have similar requests, you always see this Discord link on the top left when I have this kind of view open. And what I'm trying to achieve is to enable you to just jump in. There are voice channels, and if you go to the live interaction channel and hook in, then I'll basically just solve your problem if I have time, which in our case is the fact right now for a couple minutes at least. Okay, so we want to shoot this to, where do we do this? Qt Smuka, okay? So let's first see if that actually arrives. All right, so I'm going to take all of this out, and also this, actually, and this I'm going to take in. That's interesting, the print our post. Okay, so let's just see if we basically get there. So we're going to have a post that goes to our Qt smuka.php. Okay, simply gonna post something here. Okay, empty array, sure. We have no body. So I assume that this is probably going to be a URL form encoded thing. I guess so. So let's say okay. Test. is value. And now how's this file called? Slicka. Not sure what that means, but can I not change the type here somehow? I thought I could. Thought I could do this in a really smart way. How does this work with Postman again? Is that something here? Slicka means picture. Okay. Yeah, just getting some feedback here. So does this need to be form data? See, that's how it works. Okay, hold on. Okay, no problem. We're actually going to do it like here. So here's test value, and here we have Slicka, which means picture in, by the way, which language? Smuka, if you were so kind to help me out, to tell me what kind of language that is. And I am simply going to say pictures and the authentication banner that we're going to do later. Sure, let's do that. Okay. So let's send Slovenian. Yes, I think you told me that before. Okay. So here, of course, I just get the post test. That's fine. So let's see what the format is if I basically just repeat that. And just 1 second. Repeat that and say, well, and what's going on with files, right? So let's shoot this again, and you can see, okay, so a file in PHP, if I get it in this format, has a name, a type, a temp name. That's actually the important part for the internal process. And then basically my size, where I could say, hey, this is too big, this is too small, whatever I want to do on the server. Crop that, stuff like that. So let's see. So we have the, let me see that right here. Okay, so we have to basically the challenge to say, okay, so if this file is in existence, right? If this picture file, so that's something that we can more or less overtake and say, okay, so what's going to happen here, right? So this file is either attached to the form. I don't know how the form looks like, but that doesn't matter, or it isn't. So that if is actually something, or actually I'm going to steal that. That if is something that kind of works in a way we want. And now we say, okay, so what's our logic? So here I'm just simply going to create a directory that I call user upload. Okay, and that's all I basically want to do. And so I basically say, okay, where's my target? And my target in my case is in this very directory, user upload. Okay, and then in that case I want to add the underscore files, and then the name of the files, in our case that would be Slicka, and then we use the actual name, right? Authentication in that case, right? Okay, so I'm not going to go into like the different file types and so on. We're just going to basically simply going to understand this as it is. Sometimes it makes sense to have a different well, let's say as simple as possible. Okay, so that's basically our target. So that's where we want to move our file, and at the same time we of course know from the database what we want to show, right? So the trick here is like, okay, how do I translate this to a web URL, because I don't want to show my actual path here, right? That would be basically my file path. So what I can do is to say, okay, let's start with something like location. Let's say, so what's the part that basically stays the same? This, right? That's my location. And then I have my, and let's call this system path, right? And that would be basically my my location on the file system. And here I say web path, right? Which is basically, that is, I don't know how you do that. I assume, actually, let's not assume, right? Let's not assume and say, hey, this, oops. Interesting behavior. Oh, it's because I don't see it. Okay. And to say if EG application base is set, right? Maybe you need that because you're in some kind of subdirectory after deployment and so on. I don't know how that's going to work for you, but that's fine. So let me just see if I can have a little bit over here. So the web path, the system path is basically what I want to move my file to. So here, this is already correct. This is already correct. So I have my, in that case, it's directly my temp name, right? So I can basically say, okay, so this is how the system refers to it. So that's the file I want to move, and I do this with temp name. Right, and my destination in that case would be my system path. Let's make this maybe a little bit different here. Gives us a little more wiggle room here. And this we don't need. Okay. Okay, so far so good. This should basically now be already uploading. Let's try that out. So I'm just going to send this again. Bum, test value. And so in my project, let's find this out. Oh, well, that actually did not work. Let's see if we made this correct. So move uploaded file. Because I mixed that one up. So the first thing that, let's actually see this. See, I have this cool IDE that will basically tell you what it is. So this is the file name itself. So which file? And this is the destination. And I thought we have this correct. Location, this directory, user upload files, and then, oh, wait, why is this saying authentication? That's supposed to be name, of course. Yeah, that's supposed to be name, of course. That does not make sense. That's probably already the reason, right? What we're going to do here is a little bit of a display errors. Want to see what's going on here. Error reporting, and say, hey, show us everything you got on potential issues, and let's send it again. Bum. Okay. User authentication PNG failed to open stream, permission denied. Okay. Yeah, well, that is actually an issue that you probably don't have on Windows, but I do. So I want to say sudo chown www data, just user upload recursive. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as you can see now, I basically have my authentication image here. So far so good. Now there's a lot to be said, like if you really want to use the file name here, because what if somebody has the same file name and overriding it and so on. So I would have a different kind of, depending on what you're trying to build here, I would have a different logic for that, and would actually generate a hash and maybe some kind of user data, and then you have to think about, okay, what's going on in the event that your folder gets too big, all those kind of considerations. So there's a lot more to be said of how you ideally would do this, but I think this works for the beginning. Okay. Now, So we have moved this over, and of course we do know our location that we ultimately want to display. So okay, I don't know how you work, but let's just assume that you're going to display that. I would keep stuff like that out of the, how should I say that? I will keep it out of the, if you have any kind of echo in between your PHP, that's just not clean. I mean, you have that information now, like have your HTML somewhere else and display it accordingly. But okay, so here again, the web path at the moment we don't need, but ultimately that's probably what we want to go for. And then we're going to insert into a database. And so here's the point of how that works, right? Because so I'm not using this. Let's quickly see what we can do about this. Actually, why is this giving me a warning? So didn't I create the Smooka database? Yes, I did. Okay. So I don't know what any of this means, but I'm quickly going to create a table that is called whatever this means. Okay, so that's my table name. And so I'm going to make a couple of assumptions, right? My assumptions are that the table has an ID, which is, and let me make this a bit bigger so you guys can see that better. Right, which is the primary key and is auto incremented. And then let's go on. So then we have a, oh shit, then I can't copy paste it like that, right? Okay, that's gonna be funny. Okay, Razvijalek. I have that. And so I'm gonna make assumptions here and say all of this stuff is, and I'm probably just gonna do this and this Lika. And so this is going to be a varchar for me. Okay, I don't exactly know what that holds, but let's say it's 200. And then I have a Slika, which in that case now, and this is the point, is also varchar. That doesn't need to be that long, right? So let's do it like this. And that's actually all I need from this perspective. I don't know if there are soft deletes or whatever, but let's just assume that that's what we have, right? And then you see, okay, I've got this table, and oh, I could just get a translation here. Games. Ah, yes, I remember your project now. Yeah. Sure. Sure, I remember your project now. Get that in. And hey, by the way, if you were so kind to go to either the Twitch chat or whatever, so there are people that are not in this Discord server. That would probably kind of like to see your comments here, because I'm just basically talking to a ghost from their perspective. Yeah, right. Silverflow Stream agrees. So Smuka, if you are so kind and jump on wherever you want to go. I mean, everything is displayed in this little box that you see on the left. So you can be on YouTube, you can be in Twitch. You can be in Periscope, wherever you want. Oh, this is you. Okay, never mind. Hi there. Hi there. Okay. Let's see. So, and then we have our insert. So I'm going to use a different thing here quickly, because I'm not sure where your connection is set up and so on. Are you using just PDO, I guess, right? Yes, okay. I'm going to make my life a little bit easier, if you don't mind, and say composer require new and 3 apps db. Let's have that done quickly. And then, come on. Okay, I require that quickly. Require once, vendor autoload. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we want to insert into, let's kind of like see. So we had this like with only 2, but I mean, it's translatable, right? So, oh, we have not set up the database. Let's quickly do that. Actually, let's kind of reformat this whole thing anyway. And let's quickly say db, let's do the whole thing here, set environment. So what we need is our host will be localhost, password will be empty, the database name will be Smuka, of course a string. His name will be Smuka, and that should be it. Right, rest defaults root and so on. Yeah, I think the rest will be fine. Okay, and then here we basically say, it's because Professor used it and I really wanted to see a difference between PDO and MySQLi. Yes, it is. So the reason why PDO is preferred, I mean, first of all, because PDO can do so much more than MySQLi. So the idea is that, okay, if you change to Postgres and whatever, like you can basically reuse your code. That's a good reason. Then how you do prepared statements is a little bit easier. But you know what? Look at the what I'm using, the Neo3 AppsDB. So I can do this in a very native way, and basically say, hey, I don't even need to do all of this, right? Because you're still defining things twice, right? At the end of the day, you're defining things twice, and that is something that can be automated away pretty easy. So if I basically say, hey, make an ask, right, and say, okay, so this first sign means like use pure SQL. That's the easiest entry, right? And then I would basically say, okay, insert into. I don't actually even, I'm even too lazy for this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, hey, so the table in question here is Ikre. I don't know how that's pronounced. And what I'm going to insert is I'm going to define that once, right? And say, okay, so there's going to be this. I can basically just steal that. And then I don't need that. And then I'm going to need Slicka. Right, like this. And then, of course, here instead of Slicka, here comes the point now. That's my actual location, right? That's what I want to save here, where I say, okay, this is what comes in here. And this is safe, by the way. This under the hood creates a prepared statement. So I don't need to write this whole insert stuff here. That's just like the DB ask understands that, okay, if there are two parameters, so one, first is the table, then it's basically the values. If there's not a third, then it's not an update but an insert, right? It makes sense because an update would have a where, so it would have a third one. So this is the only thing that you're basically doing here. And then I don't need any of this. And then basically let's jump to our Postman and just do that. And we undefined index what? Oh yes, sure. That's not test. Now I actually have to give it that. That makes sense. So please do that one. And wait, let me look at your translation as developer. Sure. That is going to be Smuga dev team. All right, let's do that. Bam. Okay. So far so good. I don't have any kind of, so this would basically be my new ID, right? So the insert ID that we got in here. And if we look at this, then we can see, okay, the first time it failed, as you can see, ignore that one. So get rid of that. Okay, and here with you would basically have this value in the database, right? So that's what you have. And in any kind, when we retrieve it again, what you would do is basically say, okay, so now I can ask for this game, yeah, whatever that is, and retrieve this picture accordingly. And again, I don't know what that means for your web path, how you work. That's that depends on your infrastructure. But if we say like, okay, let's forget about Postman now and say, okay, so let's just assume that, so this whole part, we're going to say, okay, existing page, right? So here we're going to go in here now and say, okay, so that's the regular stuff. So let's just stop our PHP and basically create our HTML markup, which I'm simply going to now say there's going to be a container and there's going to be an H1 that's going to be called games. And here I basically say, okay, I want to get all of the stuff out, right? So here I'm basically going to say, I don't know, I'm going to call it games, and that will now be the name 3DB apps, easy, and I simply say, hey, get me everything from Igre. Oh, this is a difficult language, Slovenian, huh? Okay, get me everything from there. And so here are my games. Let's actually var dump that quickly. Let's var dump that quickly and have a look at that. All right, bad gateway. I did not define a, yeah, of course, always use that one. And now it should work, right? PC not found. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Now good. Let's do this manually. So where are we? Localhost, qt smoka.php. Right, let's be here. So this is now our games, right? It would say, okay, there you go. This is your ID, and this is your developer, and here you have the Slicka. Now, another thing I would recommend is, so I know that the people, and Smoka, I really recommend you watching my clean code. You don't know the half of it, probably. You should, so of course you can for each now in here, right? Of course you can, but what I would really recommend is making that a little bit smarter. So why don't you use, let's go and say, okay, hey, you know what, require template, because this is going to make your life so much easier. So what we can do with the template engine is we don't really have to mix PHP and HTML, and because that's going to be really difficult sometimes, right? So we have our games now. So what we can do instead is in here, we can basically say, okay, let's use the template embrace, and then here I'm going to place at the end here my games is games. Okay, and so the question is, well, what's the content here? And here I'm going to basically go to my project and simply say, hey, let's create a super stupid template file. And not even do that. You know what? I'm going to do it inline. I'm going to do it inline for now, just to get to the point, because I'm running out of time a little bit. So I'm going to place that directly in here. Right, and so what I do here is to basically say, okay, div, and then I say n4, and then I can simply write as if it were PHP, right, and can say games as game, and then of course if I write it like that, it's kind of messing up that, but and then I simply say well, I'm just going to do an image now, right? Image, and then say source, and now my source is game dot Slicker, right? And Alt Boo Boo. Okay, so let's see now if that works. So if I go back to our, where did it go? This. I guess I'm getting the wrong. The path is not working yet. Oh no, I'm actually not doing anything. Yeah, of course what I want to do, so somewhere I need to echo this, right? Okay, that's it. So Boo Boo not found. Let's see. Slash user upload. Okay, right. So here I do not have any kind of logic here yet. So what I'm going to do is, in my case, I'm simply going to have to put a dot here. Right, there we go. And then you have the list of your images accordingly. That's basically about what you want to do. And actually I just noticed that I want to have a style and a max height of 30 pixel here. Right, so here, and then bum 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 bum. Right, my list of Smuckers works. Let's actually create another one where we say, okay, this is the Neon Dev team, and we're gonna have a new file here that is called pictures. I don't know, Bobby interview. Let's do that one. Bum. Okay, and bum. Right. Then I have my list of images automatically, and the rest is done for you. Yeah, that's a little bit it for today. I have to jump off, and I'll see you soon probably. Just shoot over questions, as you know. I once in a while have time to actually address them, and yeah, good luck with your project.